In my youth, mental health was never discussed, or never discussed in a positive tone anyway. If someone was acting crazy, people would screw their faces up, say, "You're mental. You should be carted off to Worley," also referred to as the mental hospital. So to me, the word mental has always had negative connotations. Even though we've made vast inroads over the past 50 years with regard to mental health, I still feel there's a stigma attached to admitting you suffer with mental health issues. At various stages of my life, I've struggled with my mental health. In my early 30s, I was diagnosed with mild depression. Fortunately, it never got to a stage where I was bedridden, although there have been times I've been reluctant to get out of bed and face the day. Over the past few years, I've been affected more by SAD syndrome, which was one of the major factors in my moving to Asia full-time. So how do you keep yourself mentally positive whilst retired or living overseas? A disclaimer: I'm not a trained counsellor, but have had counselling and guidance in the past, so hopefully these tips to avoid anxiety and depression will be beneficial for you.
Don't miss out on quality broadcasting. Please like and subscribe to Bigg World Cinema. Thank you.
It's very important for me to embrace my environment. I'd rather sweat all day than be cold. I sit outside with my morning coffee, grabbing the sun rays, getting myself a daily dose of vitamin D. I don't tend to sunbathe as much as I used to, but I walk a lot in the sunshine. Which brings me to my next point. You don't have to exercise to excess, but being physically active is very important, whether it be walking, swimming, cycling, or even gardening, have all been proved to reduce anxiety and depression. Regularly exercising in the morning will release endorphins that trigger a positive feeling in your body, elevating your mood. I go to the gym 3 times a week to push weights, which helps preserve bone density and muscle mass, which decrease as we age. I also swim regularly. As well as exercising, eating good healthy food, avoiding fatty food and junk as much as possible, and getting 7 to 8 hours sleep is beneficial to a healthy body and healthy mind lifestyle. You need to keep busy. I've recently shot a separate video on living with purpose, so don't want to repeat what I put in that video, so you may want to watch that. It's important that you have interests and do something that makes you want to get out of bed each morning, which will benefit your mental health. As I've got older, I get stressed more easily, or maybe the term is irritable. There always seems to be something that goes wrong. My laptop battery's expanding, my phone's not charging, the internet is lagging, my visa needs extending, the girl on Tinder hasn't replied to the message I sent 5 minutes ago, the kitchen sink gets clogged up with my chest hair. I'm thinking, oh Jesus, what now? I make a list of things that need to be done, but don't take on too much. Make sure I don't give myself too much to do in one day that will stress me out. If you're travelling alone, being an expat overseas can be incredibly isolating and lead to feelings of loneliness. Your close friends and family are miles away on the other side of the world. I find it very important to stay connected and keep in touch with people from back home on a regular basis, which makes me feel less lonely. A lot of people don't actually know how to respond if you tell them you're depressed. Unless they've experienced depression themselves, they won't be able to or can't help you. For the majority of my time, I am alone but not lonely. I texted a lifelong friend in the UK recently saying I wasn't feeling good at the moment, that I felt quite lonely. But that part of my message went completely ignored. Others will say, "You've got nothing to be depressed about living in a hot country." Or it will give them an excuse to tell you about their problems, when all you need is a sympathetic ear, not to listen to their shit. A great way of alleviating feelings of depression is connecting with people, communicating and listening to their stories, making them feel worthy and part of this world. The Philippines is a very sociable country. It helps that the majority of people speak English. Before I moved to the Philippines, I spent 3 months in Thailand, where I felt incredibly lonely due to the language barrier. It didn't help that one of my friends from the UK, who was living in Bangkok, just a couple of streets away, didn't really want to spend much time with me because he knew I was only going to be there for a short time. But in the Philippines, it's very easy to have conversations with complete strangers. People want to engage with you here. Some weeks I'll be sat in my condo editing YouTube videos for 3 days straight and not have a conversation for 3 days. Then when I do start talking again, I find that I'm gushing. Poor sod, they've only said "how are you" and I'm chewing their ear off. Nowadays, social media helps us keep in contact and connect with people. I tend to befriend females on dating apps to have someone to connect to on a daily basis. Although a lot of these connections are quite transient, it doesn't really bother me as long as I'm just connecting with someone. There's always places you can meet other expats if you're so inclined. I see the same expats most days hanging out at Ayala. A few of them meet regularly at the different coffee bars there. Or you can try one of the many resto bars or social bar. I'm not really into hanging out with expats, but maybe I should, as this would enable me to make new friends who'd become my new support group away from my friends and family in the UK and keep me socially active. Just try not to drink too much alcohol, which is a depressant. Being with other people and sharing your problems will affirm that you're not alone and will make you feel better about yourself. When I've done so, I've always felt my mind clear as my burden is lifted. There's truth in the saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. Finally, just remember that if you are feeling depressed at any point in time, my personal words of encouragement to myself and what I suggest to others in similar situations is, this time will pass. If you liked the video, please could you like, share and subscribe. I shall see you on the next video. Take care everyone.
Welcome to Highlights. Please subscribe. Big One Cinema. Welcome to Highlights. And please subscribe. Please subscribe to the Big One Big One.